we're leading into. Now, this is Thursday. Thursday is gonna be, because like I told you guys, things are moving, things are shifting. Thursday might feel a little better when it comes to, like, you know, that very heavy, huge square we were having with Venus and Jupiter. It's finally not there anymore. So it's almost like you could feel like whatever situation was coming out of that specifically, you can have a sigh of relief by the end of the week. Like you're getting like being able to breathe. But what's going to be happening instead is we're going to be having the moon be in Aquarius that day. So it's creating more squares between Jupiter and Uranus. And this time it's not with relationships and that stuff. It's going to be with our own personal world, our emotions, and the ways we try to detach from our emotions. It's going to be bringing up, like, you might be like, oh yay, I'm done with the Venus thing, but it's like, no, the moon's going to be coming in that day and like showing you, after all this crap you've been dealing with Venus, where you might have like detached from things instead of working through it. And so you're going to be given this chance that's going to feel very painful to try to finish working through it in a more objective way. And it probably isn't going to feel good, to be honest with you. We still have all the sextiles happening between all the Pisces and Jupiter and Uranus going into later in the week. So that's still there, still the ability to be like creating things we want to create, using this energy to like work through like our self-worth blocks and being able to do things that we really want to do and feeling like we're actually working through our stuff. Like there's a lot of stuff here where it's like, if you're working through your stuff, you could be making great strides in things that you want to do. If you're not, you're going to be being knocked on your ass a lot, and it's not going to be fun. This is definitely the kind of energy it just, because look at this chart, right? All of it is like smushed up in this area. This just makes it very, very, very concentrated. And wherever this is in your chart, you're just feeling this huge concentration of energy, and this like maybe 3 or 4 like little sectors of your life are just like being lit up over and over and over again as the weeks are passing until this stuff moves out of Pisces. Now, April, we're gonna be going into eclipse season. I'm not saying it's gonna get easier, but there's definitely gonna be stuff happening. A lot of stuff. Because what this is doing basically is it's getting us ready. It's like we're giving you all of this Pisces stuff to look at what isn't working, what you need to get rid of, what you need to not do, and you need to like just drop. So that way when you get into the eclipse season and everything's in Aries and everything's like full steam ahead, go for it, do the thing. When everything's doing that and things are being lit up and we're starting a new eclipse cycle, which we're probably going to start feeling after this Pisces new moon, it's going to like be pushing us towards that eclipse. It's going to get heavy. And depending on where you're having this eclipse, you're going to have something huge that shifts in your life. Possibly like you make a huge decision. You leave a relationship, you make a huge move, you change careers. It's one of like eclipses aren't small. It could be changing fields of study. It really depends on where it is in your chart, because the eclipse is going to be a full moon, which is like releasing something. It's a huge release. So it's definitely something that you've been kind of carrying around, especially since last year when we had the eclipse like around like October. It has like a cycle, like a 6-month cycle. So if you can think back to October, like September, October, and think about like a major theme that like appeared in your life, like it just showed up. And it's like it wasn't there previously. It's gonna pinpoint what this eclipse is really trying to make you either make a decision on or like move on from, and things like that. Like whatever was brought up at that time very specifically is what's gonna be brought up with this, like a finality. is what's going to happen with this decision of whatever it is. So like I said, depends on where it is in your chart, but like I said, energy's still here. We're still doing this later in the week. It's going to be less on relationships, and it's going to be more focused on our own personal emotions and like our own personal world later in the week. So it might just be we're able to get some time to ourselves if we weren't able to get that earlier in the week with all the chaos and dealing with people. Or it could just be we worked through like that inner turmoil we were having with our own self-worth, and now we're trying to find a way to be more objective with our emotions over certain situations. It really depends on if it's like a personal inward thing that you've been doing. It'll show in your chart if it's a personal inward as opposed to like an outward. Tons of people are what is giving you these lessons. So like I said, it really depends on your chart. And then we're gonna go into Saturday. This is the day before the Pisces new moon, because it'll happen like Sunday morning. So you can see it's getting close. It's scooting up there. And we're having Venus getting closer to Pisces. Now, Venus in Pisces will be nice because Venus in Pisces is exalted, because Pisces energy, like I've told you guys before, is that like non-judgmental loving energy. So when you have Venus in that, it's like just emitting unconditional love. Like, I love without conditions. I don't judge you. And like, it's a really beautiful thing. It's great for helping others. It's great for being altruistic. It's like the downside with it, of course, is the boundaries, where you just give and give and give and give of yourself very unconditionally, and that's taken advantage of. So that's just going to be something we're going to be looking out for moving into the following week. But that's not there yet. Everything else is sitting up here in Pisces. Like I said, that new moon, which is when the moon is going to be sitting on top of the sun the following morning, is like gearing up. You can feel it building throughout Saturday night. And it's going to make you even more emotional. It's like, if you thought you were not emotional already, the moon is our emotions, and it's moving up here with all this stuff. Saturday night, because the moon is literally going to be on top of Saturn, because if you look at this, it's almost going to feel this two things. It can go two ways, right? It's either going to feel like your emotions are being like stifled, like oppressed and pushed down, because that's what Saturn does. It like pushes things down, and like it's almost like it puts it in a pressure cooker and it's gonna like just push it down, just keep shoving it under. Now that could be like an outside source doing that to you, because Venus is still squaring Uranus, so there could be some unpredictable relationship dynamics that make you feel like, you know, you were trying to express something and all of a sudden it's like stomped and squished. Like that could be something that happens like Saturday night going into Sunday morning because of this. But it could also be because, you know, that's like the side we don't like, but there's also the way of Saturn is us learning structure, and it could be all this work we've been doing throughout the week, all this freaking heavy crap that we've been having to work through. What can happen is it makes it to where we actually have the willpower, because Saturn is our willpower and our staying power. It's the tenacity. So it's gonna possibly give us the ability to create structure, to create like a lot of like this emotional foundation that's actually healthy for us, you know, like starting the new thing, because Mercury is very close, if you look up here, to moving into Aries. Like it's, the planets are starting to shift. They're getting closer to shifting in Aries as the month goes on. And as this is happening, like Mercury at the 29th degree is saying that there's this very big critical point around the way we communicate. It can be communicating with ourselves. It can be our subconscious communication that we just have that we need to break, because using Saturn, we can actually put this structure with our emotions going like, I don't need to be talking to myself this way. This is not healthy. I do not want like this kind of mental landscape. It's like being able to have more control over your thoughts and the way you're doing things, because you've been doing the work. Now, if you haven't been doing the work, I mean, honestly, this could like be like the last straw where you're just like, screw it, I'm done, and then you like go off into an escapism, to be quite honest with you, because 29 is a crisis. It's like you're put into this thing where you either have a mental break and it's like a crisis moment and you just like you flail, fall apart, cry, you know, you finally let the emotions out that you've been fighting so freaking hard all week. Like something comes, hits the crescendo, and then you're made to sit there with everything you've been fighting. Or you're finally like you're given an opportunity, because crisis can turn into an opportunity that pushes you forward into what you're supposed to do. Now, crisis is going to be different for everybody. To be honest with you, it's like a lot of people are going to have a lot, because it is Mercury, it's going to be a lot more of a mental, personal, subconscious crisis, because it's Mercury in Pisces. What's going to make it very hard is talking about it, because Mercury, when it's in Pisces, finds it hard to communicate, because the way it moves through the world is through feeling and merging with things, not necessarily like creating boundaries and having like its own personal thought process, because that's the way it works. It's like I learn through meshing with things. I don't learn through having my own separate body and just taking in information, which is like how air works. Which is what this whole thing in Aquarius is trying to teach us, like how to be in that air energy and be able to like be a separate entity from the emotions so that we can objectively heal it. That's why we need it. Like we need every aspect of every sign in our charts. We need it to work together in order to like help the other part of our chart get better. Otherwise we just stay stuck. Like any person that has a hate for a zodiac sign, they are not going to heal, because they effectively are hating a crucial piece of themselves and a crucial piece of understanding themselves. So until they can work past their hate, they're not going to be able to work past that limitation. And that's something that can very well come up here, is our limitations, because having Pluto sextiling Mercury, it's like you have this opportunity to see where you've placed limitations on yourself, where you've tried to control yourself in a way to make either yourself more pleasing for others, to be able to be liked by others, because Pisces does that. It does the thing where it's like, I want to love and be loved. I want to understood. I want to understood. I want to understand and be understood. It's like that whole like dynamic of like what I give, I want to receive, right? And it's like being very gullible and unassuming with it. And Pluto's going to show you like where you need to start, you know, taking your power back in certain situations and doing it in a healthy way, so that you have healthy boundaries around your emotions, the love you give people, the love you receive from people, being able to communicate your needs in these respects, like taking the control back over like your mind and being able to say the things you need instead of keeping it buried, like being able to stand up for yourself. And that could be a crisis moment for some people where they finally stand up for themselves, and it seems like a crisis because they've never done it before. And it's like just a lot of people in their life are like, what? Like very unpredictable things with your relationships. Like if you stand up for yourself and you've never done it, it's going to create a whole ruckus in your relationships. It's just how it is. But what is important is that you realize that's what this energy wants. It wants you to stand on your own and be able to be happy on your own, so that way, like when you're with your group of people, you're happy being yourself with that group of people. That's what Aquarius energy is. It's not like just because I know a lot of people talk about like Aquarius energy like, oh, it's the unique, it's the weird, it's the quirky. Yeah, it's that. But it's not just standing alone by yourself. That's what Leo does. It stands alone by itself on a stage and it's admired by people. Aquarius energy is the unique person that is part of their group of people, that is respected for their individual things they bring to the group, but they're still very much an interconnected part of the group. Like, it's very different. Aquarius isn't very emotive because it's like the way they detach from things allows them to just accept people as they are without becoming attached to them in that way. Pisces is more I merge with you, I'm attached to you. It's very like different from Aquarius, but they're both doing the same thing. Aquarius is like humanity, but being objective and letting everyone do their thing, have their different views and stuff, but we can all still be together. Pisces is like, I'm melding my world with yours. And like a lot of times it's hard for them to keep their own how can I put this? It's hard for them to keep their own standing on certain situations because they will just let it melt away in order to bring other people closer to them. Like if my points of view, hello Panda, I'm good. If other people bring like their points of view to like Pisces and they really want to keep those people around, sometimes they will water down their points of view, or they will just like, you know, hide their points of view in order to keep those people around. And that's what Aquarius is trying to teach you not to do. It's saying like, be your own person and, you know, be a part of the group. And Pisces, what it's trying to teach you on the good end is don't be judgmental and just accept people as they are and love people as they are. But obviously both energies can go the wrong way. But like I was saying, that's Saturday. I will talk more about the new moon on Saturday, since that's what's going to be happening Sunday. I